Hello, everybody. Hello, guys and gals. Me, Mudahar. And I believe everybody who's watching this video is more loved by their parents than the community we are absolutely about to look at. Now, a few days ago, I made a video where I was like, the biggest emulation W, right? RPCS3, 0 games, black screening, everything was appearing to load. Even if everything didn't work, big win, big solid plus, which is probably some of the best landmarks your emulator projects are going to hit. Now, something to know about emulators is most of them are made by extremely talented people making literally nothing. Some of these are developed by free as full hobby passion projects. Even if there's a Patreon, these guys make a fraction of what they should deserve, in all honesty. So anytime I see a project like this, even if it's not perfect, I'm always like, well, hey, this is pretty awesome. You know, you guys are actually putting in the effort. Congratulations. Awesome. You guys are making sure that video games are being preserved for all. And even again, if something doesn't work, I understand. I get it. I also understand running PlayStation 2 games on an Android cell phone, right? For instance, some of you know where I'm going with this. It's going to require you to use a pretty recent device. No, you can't use the 2011 drop phone that you used when you were selling something out on the streets. No, you can't do that. All right? You can't just use your burner phone, surprisingly. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, the project that I'm talking about is Aether SX2. Now, this is one of the only emulators that was designed cleanly. In terms, like, it didn't have any drama around it. There wasn't issues of stolen source code and potential spyware hidden in their project. I'm not naming any names here to be specific. They were a clean project made by one developer, one person doing it all for free. Very recently, this person quit this project because the community behind it just could not stop giving death threats because God of War wasn't loading up for them on Granny's vibrator, okay? That's pretty much what we're looking at over here. Unfortunately, the developer for this project had to quit because people could not stop sending death threats over the fact that a 2011 phone probably couldn't run GTA San Andreas on their device. It's a wild scenario to watch into. Now, to understand, for those of us looking into it, here it is. Aether SX2 development is indefinitely suspended due to never-ending impersonating, complaints, demands, and now death threats. I'm done. You can still download, use the app, and it will continue to work for the foreseeable future. Aether SX2 was always meant to be a fun hobby for me, not profit-driven. It doesn't make sense to continue working on a hobby which isn't fun anymore. Stay safe out there, watch out for the scammers, there's a lot of them. Which, yeah, if you're ever on, like, emulator, PlayStation, like, emulator side for YouTube, tons of them are releasing software. Spider-Man? PlayStation 5? 8K on PC? Ha, ha, ha! And then people fall for it, and you're like, God, you are stupid. Anyways, so again, they left the current build downloads over here that you can still access, but the entire project has ceased functioning. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, it's because, again, of those death threats. Now, I wanted to look into some of these death threats, for instance. One of them really whiplashed me a lot, this one right here. Hello, I've been having a few issues with my device for your emulator. The screen goes black sometimes and it's hard to play. Again, no explanation what game they're talking about, even what device, okay? Which is typically something that you ever, like, talk in a forum and they're like, hey, my computer isn't working, guys. And they're always like, hey, dipshit, can we have the logs? Can we see what you're running? Okay, there's a pretty big difference between you having a high-end system and some Intel Celeron dump from like back mid 2005. So obviously, person provided no context, no nothing. So you don't know if they're trying to run like the most obscure PlayStation 2 game on some of the oldest Android hardware. Nope, no answer. But again, this wasn't even intended to be a question. This was intended to be nothing but a death threat. Some malicious email. Read this. Now that you click this email, let me be straight with you. You deserve everything bad that is happening to you. I hope you die in a car accident, you piece of shit! Such a shame I don't live in your country, otherwise I'd beat you up till you stop! Wow. Now, of course, I could read a message like that and probably laugh. Look, if I was making a free piece of software and somebody like that was raging on me, bro, I'd make it my life's mission to make you cry and piss yourself every day of my life. I wouldn't even care if people on Reddit would be like, but Muda, you're being too mean to this person. I don't care, all right? At the end of the day, life is not Reddit. Life is not Twitter. When you're into the real world, all right, guess what? It is a lot harsher than you would expect. Now, the response from the developer developer over here was something like this. Now, this is where I actually really agree with the developer no matter what. Read this. So, Ghost, nothing lasts forever. Any sane person wouldn't keep working on an app that gives them no enjoyment. And getting abused by 32-bit kids. Kind of funny I came to this conclusion a few days ago, but 3 pages of cursing I saw today was enough to officially suspend it. Again, the straw that broke the camel's back. One response that gets it, I'm sure you can just ignore it. So this is a really dumb question, a really dumb statement. Yeah, maybe instead of blaming the developer, just ignore it, bro. It's the internet. Again, may I remind you, this is a free application, a very, very, very well-crafted free application. Making emulators is not easy. Of course, why wouldn't this person just stop the project? Again, a lot of the people that are making these complaints have never opened up an IDE or anything in their life. They have no idea the intricacies and the code bases they're dealing with or criticizing. Why would anybody keep wasting free hours of their life when they could get paid at some big company instead? Just for what? For what? Some internet points? Get out of here. They ain't gonna pay the bills. Get out of here. When it comes to these people complaining about these projects, not realizing that there really are like a few handful of individuals working on these projects, making big strides for game preservation and emulation. Yeah, guess what? You kind of have to take what you can get. You know, anytime like a bug happens in an emulated project, sometimes you can be racking your brains for months figuring out why things are messed up. I'll give you an example. Even high-end computers cannot emulate properly. You know, PlayStation 2 is one that I just recently did. I wanted to play Manhunt again. And I'm not showing you footage because YouTube Fisher-Price censors would cry. But the point is, when I was playing that game, recently you could buy it on Steam, and I did, and it was really, really buggy. Now, sure, I could patch the game or whatever, but I just wanted to play Manhunt. So I got my ISO file, I backed up my actual game, I connected a controller, and lo and behold, PCSX2 was having graphical bugs. So I decided, instead of going to the PCSX2 team and telling them to go die in a fire, I looked up why this was having an issue, and I fixed it myself. Yeah, it took me, 40 minutes out of my day, but at the end of the day, it worked flawlessly. And yeah, I understand when I'm using software like this, it's supposed to mimic hardware and software. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect 100% of the time. Most emulators are not, and especially emulators for the PlayStation 2, and in some cases the Nintendo Switch running on a mobile device. A mobile ARM chipset is pretty impressive to begin with. Forget the fact that it's not running 60 frames with the resolution 5 times. It's just impressive. It runs in the first place. One of the most impressive things that I've ever seen is the emulation of Persona running at 60 frames per second using the Skyline Switch emulator on an Android device. Yeah, we're at a point where you can play Nintendo Switch games at 60 frames on an Android device. And again, if this game didn't work, if this game was lagging, I would understand. I wouldn't even be shocked. But again, for the community that doesn't understand how programming works, how these code bases work, they're going to send out the most insane shit imaginable, and then they'll be surprised when their project shuts down. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, it is so wild that we are reaching a point where these devices have any of that stuff. This is my old Android device. For those of you who don't think I don't have skin in the game, I played Aether SX2 like crazy on my Android devices before this kicked the bucket. So again, ooh. The battery is going to blow on this. It's not safe to be keeping around this desk, but who cares? Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is some really, truly unwashed, virgin Reddit behavior, virgin internet behavior that has caused the development of one of the most impressive pieces of software to stop. And again, it's a great reminder on why you as a community should be just a little bit empathetic towards the people who are working on your projects for free. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no sympathy for the Aether SX2 community. You guys deserve everything you got to you, okay? Yeah, I get it. There's a few bad actors, and not everyone was giving out threats and whatever. And sure, yeah, I guess the developer could try to ignore it. But at the end of the day, why would you ever expect a human being to just keep working on a project for free that they keep getting shit for, even though they have no real obligation to anybody in the community? You want to criticize somebody for making emulators? All right, maybe try your hand at doing it, okay? It's not as easy as you think. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar. Truly, truly unloved community. This is me, Muta, and I am out.